Welcome to the TFO podcast, where guests get to give their thoughts, feelings, and opinions on a variety of subjects. This podcast is hosted by your very own Stacy Cook, and as always, sponsored by Fool's Guide Life Coaching. Follow me on all social media platforms. So give it up for our guest today. Yeah. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Howard Hawthorne. I'm a resident here locally out of Rock Island, Illinois. I grew up here. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. But I've been in the community. My kids went to Rocky. I went to UT, graduated from Louisville in 1990. I'm currently a full-time project manager for a construction company. But during COVID and all those things that happened, I actually started an in-home business helping people repair their credit or pretty much educating people on finances.
How do you get paying clients when most of those people that need financial help, credit help, don't have money?
Right.
How do you do that?
That's actually a great question. And I guess the best answer for that, for me, would be those who really want to help themselves, they're going to find out a way. They're going to figure out a way to go ahead and get the services paid for.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, and those who don't, and unfortunately, I'm not saying you don't want to waste your time with those people. Those people don't want to change. So there's no reason for you to put a lot of time and effort into that individual if they don't want to invest in themselves. So I look at it as an investment in yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Because not only do I let people know our flagship is credit repair, but it's financial literacy. A lot of people might go somewhere and get their credit repaired, but don't know how they got there.
Yeah.
So what's the point of having somebody repair all this stuff for you and you pay all this money, and then 6 to 8 months or 12 months down the road, you're right back in the exact same situation.
Yep.
And the reason why? Because it's the financial literacy part that you just quite don't understand.
Yeah. So, and where I see that at is when people go bankrupt. A lot of times people go bankrupt and they're like, I'm clear, I can start all over, but they have the same habits and they end up back in the exact same spot. Right?
Exactly. And it's just education. I mean, it's like anything else. You gotta have it. I tell people credit is one of the most important things to me because your life is based off that.
Yeah.
Where you live, what you drive, your interest rates on your homes, everything is based off that number. You know, try to go buy a house right now.
Yeah.
And you call a realtor and I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 times the first question is, you know what your credit score is?
Yeah.
Are you already pre-approved?
Pre-approved.
And a lot of times, if you're not, and they run that score, and you're not nowhere in the ballpark before you know it, all of a sudden you're a ghost to them. You don't want to spend any time until you get that stuff rectified or corrected.
Right. So for you to take this on, right, because this is a very important topic. So you take this topic on. Do you have like a story of your own where this is like, okay, I needed my credit, I didn't have it, or something like that?
One thing about credit, people don't like to talk about it, right? Because it's personal. But the reason why I got into the business was for the simple fact I was tired of being tired. And what that means is I like cars. I was in the car business. And so a great deal would come by, and you know what? And I didn't have the credit to buy it. So I would ask my father-in-law. He put 2 or 3 cars in his name for me. And I just got tired of doing that. So, hang on, get your dad, see if he'll do this for us. My mom didn't have the credit to do it. You know, so her father did. So that's what I did for a few years early in our relationship and our marriage. And I just got tired of doing it. One is embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
Even though I made every payment on time, making his credit better, right?
Yeah.
But I just got tired of being tired.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about the 10 things that people need to have, you need to be self-sufficient, right? And
Absolutely.
when you're going out and trying to buy things that are staples, right? A vehicle,
Right.
A home, and you need somebody else to come in and help you do that.
Right, it's embarrassing. And even with, let's say necessarily you can't buy a home, even to go rent an apartment these days, you know, unless you want to be someplace where you don't want to be, you know, they want to pull your credit.
You know, in this day and age, I'm starting to see the rent is so high that you're better off buying a home. Like if you don't have credit, it hurts you in a lot of ways because a little 2-bedroom apartment, $1,000.
All day.
$1,000 a month, right?
All day. I got plenty of buddies in the business, $1,000 all day long. And people are paying it. You know, you can own your house Some people have their own opinion of homes, and some people say it's an asset, some people say it's a liability, depending on who you talk to. At least you're going to get something back out of it versus paying off somebody else's debt, and now they're making, passive income off that particular item because you don't pay it off for them. Yeah. I know people rent houses for 20 years. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Absolutely.
And then when they want a home equity loan, the landlord goes and takes a home equity loan out on your money.
Yep.
But you don't have anything there.
Yeah. So. It's unfortunately, it's a part of life. I guess that's why you got the rich and that's why you got the poor. Some people get it, some people learn it, and some people just stubborn and don't.
It's almost that simple.
It's
right.
Really,
it's really is. That's how you have the rich and the poor, and it's just literacy.
I'm a straightforward guy, and it's really just that simple. Like if people will ask me, well, can you guarantee that my score is going to go up?
Yeah.
With the credit business, it all depends on the credit profile. And the only thing I can guarantee is if you don't do nothing, you're going to be in the exact same situation.
Right.
That's the only thing I can guarantee.
You got to do something, right?
You got to do something, right? Action means everything.
Yeah.
Talk is cheap, action speaks louder than words.
Exactly.
So long as, I look at my life, so I look at where I'm at last year, and I want to see the progress every single year.
Right.
And if you can look at yourself and you're not growing as an individual, then you're dying.
Yeah, and it's not just finances. That's just overall
life. You're a life coach. I'm sure you hear all different types of situations and things of that nature. So it's just it's a part of life, something that we have to adapt to. And those who don't adapt to it, they're suffering. Maybe they don't. Here's a perfect analogy for me.
Yeah.
You know what? Because I was in the exact same situation, so that's why I can talk about it. It's just a struggle, and every time it doesn't matter if you don't have your credit or your finances in line. It's just a struggle. You're just
really
chasing
is.
your tail. You really are. As far as from just paying higher interest rates, did the rent to own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did it all. I did it all. It's really sad to me. It's really sad to me. It's even more sad to me the people that don't want to do anything about it. And I hate to say it, but it's a lot in our community. We'll spend our money on tons of other stuff. Depending on who you're rolling with. You go out on a good night someplace and get bottle service somewhere. You might drop $1,000. Just depending, where
we can't be doing that.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah,
people will do that, but you ask them to spend, a couple $100 a month to repair the credit or learn about their credit and finances and stuff like that, and they think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world.
They really do. They really do. The people that need help from me most often don't want to pay for it. You see them and they're like, I think I can talk to this other person, right? And I'm like, I understand, but those people are your friends, and so they're going to give you the answers that a friend would give you.
Right.
And that's different, right? Same for you. When you come to them about their finances, there might be some tough discussions.
Oh, absolutely.
And those people would rather hear that not at all, or from somebody else that will kind of pacify them and let them keep doing those same things.
Absolutely right. Change is difficult.
It is. When you talk about our people, a lot of times we fall prey to rent to own, checking the cash, title loans, all of those different things like that. Can you talk about how bad those things are for people?
I never actually went down that road, but I have family members that did, and I just say, look in our community.
Right.
Why do you think there's so many of them?
Yeah.
Kind of like liquor stores, you know what I mean? There's a reason why there's so many of them, because we're looking for the quick way out. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I know, I won't say us as a people, we get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, back in my day, I used to be like, rent to own, buy here, pay here, what's the payment? Oh, if I can make that payment, I'm good.
I'm good.
I didn't care if it was for 8 years. You know what I mean? Or a car cost $6,000, I don't pay $15,000 for it. It was just the payment. So sometimes that's our mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is as long as we can afford it, we think monthly. That is a good buy for us.
Probably not. I talk to people about you can buy something, a one-time purchase, but when you start acquiring debt, that's when you get yourself in trouble. I have to pay for this for 5 years, and I acquire something else, 3 years for this, and pretty soon you're upside down, and they're coming to you, right? You can't get out of it, right?
Absolutely. It's like cars, My wife is a victim of it. She loves cars. So before you get one paid off, she wants to jump in another one. And I pay mine off. I don't want. Listen. How about you? How about you save that money that you're gonna spend for that payment for 1 year, And we do something with that money that you save for 1 year. Then, if you think it's right for you to go ahead and buy another one, then go ahead and buy another one.
Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure from a financial standpoint? We all have them. Like we go out and spend money on certain things.
Clothes, man. I got a bad problem with clothes. I like to shop. You know what I mean? I like to shop. And that's gotten me in a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? Living out of your means. You know, I've been a victim of that. You know, social media has a big impact on that. You know, you see these people doing this and that and this and that. You know, driving this and that, this and that. And, you know, you look at yourself and say, you know, that person ain't no different than me, or that person ain't no better than me. Why can't I do it?
Yep.
Well, maybe that person's working a little bit harder than you. Or maybe you got some passive income coming in or something like that, which you don't.
Right.
So that's when you know.
Or they're in debt.
Or they're in debt. You see a lot of that. You see a lot of people that's in debt.
So what's hard is I'm living today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to save for later and trying to find that balance, right? So what do you tell somebody? They're brand new, 20 years old. I know you have kids. They're in that same age range.
Yep, I got to smack around all the time.
Yep.
They all, you know, they have the cars and the houses and things of that nature. The best thing you do is you got to put something away.
Yeah.
You know, you get your check, you know, put something away.
Yeah.
Whether you have the company that you're working for taking that money out, whether you invest in 401ks, IRAs, everybody got their opinions on all of that. I'll just take something out, you know, 10% of your check. Something. You need to take something out and put it back for a rainy day. I call it an emergency fund.
Yeah, for sure.
Things of that nature.
Yeah. So the one thing it took me a whole bunch of time to learn about is compound interest.
Oh.
I didn't understand it. When you talk about financial literacy, I'm like, if I put $100 in the bank and it makes 1%,
right.
I have $100 and 1%. And I felt okay with that. At least I got my 100. But when you start talking about compound interest, that's a job. That's like hiring somebody.
And that's not one of my expertise, to be totally honest with you. So I have a friend that's actually involved in that too as well, because that's actually another totally different level. It's almost into, you know, going into investments and the stocks and, you know, things of that nature. So I'm not really an expert on that type of stuff. I still dabble in it myself. And, you know, 'cause I got mentors that's smarter than me, and it's, you know, I already got the blueprints. I just try to follow what they do, but I'm not an expert on it.
Yeah. So, interesting that you would bring up mentorship, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I work with a lot of people. We all talk about it all day. Who's your mentors? You need this one and this one. And you got 4 or 5 of them going at the same time, right? For the people in our community, it's tough to get those folks to find somebody to believe in enough to actually call them a mentor. Why is that? Do you see what's the deal? Is it pride? Is it?
I think a lot of it is, you know, I think a lot of it is. I put it like this. I got friends that I know are not in the best financial situation, or their credit is not the greatest, and I told them I'll fix it for free. I still not do it.
Yep.
I still not do it.
Yeah, like as an adult, I don't want somebody else telling me what to do in my life, but
right, and I guess people don't understand. You know, we all have struggled one way or another in our lives, and you know, I fall off the bandwagon at times today.
Yeah.
And people got to understand we're all human. You know, we're all imperfect, and we just make mistakes. But in order for our community to change, we got to be able to help one another. And out of us, some of us is not smarter than maybe the next person. Maybe you got some knowledge that you can pour into me that might help me grow, and vice versa. I just think in our community, we're just afraid of that.
Yeah. How do you get other people to come along? Like you're married, you got kids, you have your financial literacy in one spot. I don't know where theirs is,
right?
But how do you get them to make those decisions that you think are the right things? Is it easy?
No, it's not. You know what? I think we all, me having kids young, me and my wife, is learn from our example. You know, you guys might not necessarily see the behind the scenes struggle, but you know they're the struggle. So I've always told my kids, you know, anything I tell you is from example. You know what I mean? I want you to, I don't want you to go out and have to learn it if you don't have to. If I say, hey, listen, this is probably the correct way to do it, I give them suggestions.
Right.
And I don't try to tell them what to do. I give them suggestions, and then they run with it. But I also, all my children try to tell me to get a mentor or mentee with my daughter. You know, get somebody that may be more well-rounded than me, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. You know, I make a lot of mistakes. So that's something too that they do, and I think that's helped them a lot in life.
Yeah. So what's the best advice that you learned from somebody and that you took it and it's helping you in your own life?
I guess, you know what, just kind of sit back. You know, I used to be really care about the dollar bill, you know what I mean? And, you know, that's all I really focus on is the money. So, but now I guess the best thing I've heard from people is just enjoy life, you know. But you enjoy life within your means, with what you can afford. So that's why I could just tell people, you know, just try to enjoy life. Try to learn as much as you can. The information is free. You know, you're out there looking at, you know, Instagram and spend hours on TikTok and things of that nature. You know, throw up a YouTube video on finances or credit and, you know, how it works and so on and so forth. You know, just spend a little time. I just say spend all your time. You know, take 10 minutes a day out of your day to educate yourself. It's something that's going to help you grow as an individual.